What up, IDS Mob? So today we're going to be talking about the number one thing that nice guy introverts must stop doing when they're trying to date women. And this is actually based on a comment that I saw under another person's video. There's a guy named Coach Corey Wayne who also gives relationship advice here on YouTube. Been for a lot of years. I love his stuff. And he did a video recently called How to Overcome Nice Guy Syndrome. Well, one of the commenters below that video, who was an introvert, left a very interesting comment that I thought is worth sharing with you guys and then further elaborating on, because this is something that he talks about that I too used to think I had to do in order to keep women around. And it goes like this. He says, the single biggest thing I learned to avoid doing as far as nice guy habits go was to ensure I don't spend as much time as possible with the woman I'm seeing. I always wanted to be with a woman as much as possible, constantly wanting to be with her or texting/talking to her, partly out of neediness and also because somehow deep down I didn't trust her and needed to make sure I was the main focus. Familiarity breeds contempt is so true. It never allows her time to miss you. Being introverted, forcing myself to be around someone constantly is draining and annoying most of the time. I always refuse to admit that to myself, and it always slowly caused me to resent them in a way. So that's the first paragraph. Now, I will say this is very similar to what I used to do, because at the point where I figured out I was an introvert and knew what that meant, even though I knew that I would need to have my alone time, and that as much as I care for that other person, that I would still need time to recharge, to reassess things, and to just have my own time to myself. There's always been the narrative pushed by the media and TV and music and also just other relationship gurus that in order to effectively be able to build a woman's interest, you need to spend as much time with them as possible. You need to communicate with them quite often, where you're texting them and calling them every single day. You got to send good morning text. You got to say, hey, you're beautiful. You got to constantly check up on them. And I found just when I did those things, A, come to find out most women don't actually want that. But more importantly, B, it was draining to my energy to the point where I would start to get frustrated, or I'd want to spend alone time, but the woman would want me to go somewhere with her. And I felt that if I said anything against that or said, hey, I actually need to spend some time alone today, that I'd hurt their feelings, they'd cry about it. And then that would guilt me into, okay, I'll spend more time with you. But like you said, I'd be building resentment because I wasn't aware that that need of mine was so prevalent regardless of who I was with. Like, whether I liked the woman, kind of, sort of, or I had a really strong vibe and chemistry with this other person, there would inevitably come a point where I'd be like, I need a break. And I couldn't figure out why. I was like, is it because I don't like them or whatever? But just know, as an introvert, I need my time to recharge and be alone just to be able to get back to myself. But trying to do that with women, I thought it couldn't be a thing because they'd hurt their feelings. So I would just acquiesce and spend time with them. And so what this guy is saying is he did the same exact thing, and it actually ended up hindering and hurting a lot of his relationships. All right. So let's continue on with this comment. He says, the woman I'm seeing now is a fellow introvert who needs me time to recharge, same as I do. So I go do my things, she does hers. And when we see each other again after a few days apart, it's nice having a full battery to share with each other. I know what her life is like and who she spends time with outside of me, and she knows I spend my alone time in the mountains camping and exploring or hanging out with my boss on our off time. And this is the thing too, is that as an introvert, you might feel as though you have to qualify what your alone time would be. I dated the woman one time where I told her that sometimes my alone time might be something as simple as trying to, get a hotel room to myself for a day just to kind of relax and chill out. And she felt insulted that I would actually try to rent a hotel or go out of town without her, as if to say I don't want to be with her. And that's the point, is that some people aren't going to understand that you need your alone time and that you should be able to spend it as you see fit, assuming you're not trying to spend your alone time with a hooker or some other woman or something like that, But also, he mentioned a part where he's dating a fellow introvert. I want to be very clear that yes, introverts need their alone time, but guess what? Extroverts need their alone time too. And oftentimes they are the ones that they might not even be aware that they need it, but they'll start getting cranky and so too after spending all this time with other people and not having a chance to be to themselves. And so you, as the introvert in the relationship, might have to tell them, hey, you know what? As much as I enjoy your company, I understand that you might need some time to go read a book or to just, be alone with your thoughts. And I will never take that as a personal insult to our relationship. I understand that just like I need that, you need that as well. And I've dated extroverted women who have been so happy that I'm the kind of guy that's going to allow them that time and not make them feel guilty about it. Because you'd be surprised how many women actually want to have alone time. And how many of them in previous relationships got guilted by the guy into thinking that they're being a bad person if they don't want that other person around, okay? So recognize that as an introvert, since you know that that's to be true, that you know that you need your alone time, you gotta verbalize to the other person, if they're an extrovert, that it's okay to have that time. Continuing, he says, just yesterday, after us not seeing each other for 2 days, she showed up at my job with my favorite coffee after she got off work, just because she wanted to see me and figured if I had a bad day, it might be nice to have a coffee. The little things are the most important, and it goes both ways. I'll pick up a coffee for her or grab her favorite lunch and drop it off for her, and it's amazing watching her light up from such a little thing. And here's where the actual gift of being able to have alone time is, okay? If you're with a woman that recognizes that you oftentimes need your alone time, what'll start to happen is, honestly, as you get to know that other person, you're gonna probably start to recognize that you need less of that time. And so now, at times where she knows you'd be alone, if you end up saying, I was gonna be alone, but I'm coming here to do this thing for you, or just to say hi, or I'm reaching out to you because I just want you to know you're my thoughts, those moments actually mean a bigger deal to them because they know that you're trying to recharge. And the fact that you thought about them and or came to them during a time where she was like, it's totally fine for you to recharge, that makes a bigger impact than if you're just around all the time and now it's not a special thing and it breeds contempt because she recognizes you're always gonna be there, and it could be that you're thinking about her, or it could be just that you're needy and you need somebody to be around all the time, and that does not make her feel special, all right? And then lastly, he says, nice guys often aren't bad, but they are too scared to simply say what they think or feel because they don't have any options but the one in front of them. If you can't be you for fear of losing someone, you'll never truly connect with them. You have to be able to risk pissing them off if you're ever going to be true to yourself and be able to share an actual meaningful relationship with them. And that's so true. And that's why I say that the biggest mistake you can make as a nice guy introvert is to completely constantly be around them and give up your alone time. Because you're thinking by giving up this alone time, it's gonna be a huge sacrifice and it's gonna show the other person how much you care about them. But it's going to build resentment, and you're gonna start saying and or doing things when you're around them constantly that's going to annoy them and upset them, on top of just, they need a break too. So don't think that this goes one way, that you're the introvert that always wants your alone time. The reality is that other person you're dating needs their alone time too. And if you just give that up completely to be around them all the time, you're gonna find that those dating relationships are gonna flame out fast. Like, there are so many women that, or not so many, but there's a good number of women that I dated who I was trying to be there all the time and text them every day and call them every day and be around them every day. And within 2 or 3 weeks, gone. Like, just no more. And I'm thinking, but they had such a high interest in the beginning, but at no time was I allowing them time to sit with themselves, to reminisce about the times they spent with me, to anticipate my presence. And these are positives that actually help to build a woman's feelings for you a lot faster, okay? So I get it. You're a nice guy. You don't want to hurt her feelings. You want to be able to be there for her when she wants you to be there. And I'm telling you, that's actually the opposite of being a nice guy. Because if you become resentful and you become that guy that's going to be holding things against her, that's not really a nice thing to do, all right? Ultimately, women want to know what your boundaries are, and they want to know when you're going to need time to have a break, because they know that you have interests outside of just hanging out with them. And trust me, they definitely have interests that are beyond just hanging out with you all day, all right? So if you consider yourself a nice guy and you're introverted and you're wondering, why is it that I'm trying to give up all my time for this woman and she's not appreciating it? This could be a major mistake that you're making, okay? So consider taking back your alone time. If you're with somebody who maybe you've been spending a lot of time with them, you got to explain to them, hey, I've been spending a lot of time because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, to let you know that I am an introvert. Or even if you're not an introvert, that there are times when I do want to just be to myself or be alone, or even just like be hanging out with the boys without you there. And this isn't in any way trying to insult you or make you think that I don't care for you. It's just as much as I do care for you, I recognize for my own mental health or personal health that it's good for me to get away from everybody at times, including you who I care about, and be able to get back to myself so I can come back to you as a recharged person who can show the kind of love and affection that you are truly deserving of. All right. So hopefully, guys, this helps you out. Now, obviously, I'm doing a lot of shows lately where I'm answering other people's questions. So I still want to do a few shows here and there where I'm just giving you guys some general good advice. For those of you that have written me, I will be answering your questions in some of these videos and podcasts. If you want a quicker response to the questions that you have, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com and click on the coaching tab and set up a one-on-one phone consultation with yours truly. You can also go there to check out my eBooks, audiobooks, and other various programs that are designed to help you date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time, all right? You can also leave a monetary thank you by leaving a super chat thanks here, or by going to the website, clicking on the tip jar tab, and leaving a monetary thank you there as well, or at one of the links down below, I believe, as well. Anyway, I'm Harry Wilmington. Thanks for watching, and I will check you guys on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.